2 between DM White and HowDareYou. HowDareYou starting the upper hand corner as the green Zerg. Bottom left hand corner, we have DM White. I think these are the same colors, right? Bottom left hand corner as White, which is great. Makes it easy. This is going to be on Eclipse. I'm wondering if both players play it a little bit more passively because, well, I guess I'm not sure that a drop in the mid game is necessarily passive, but played a little bit more timidly. Timidly is the word I want to use. Perhaps because of unfamiliarity with Blue Storm as a map. Not positive in that regard. I'm not sure how old. I know DM White's fairly old school. One thing is, I'm not sure if it's lag or if it's some other factor, but DM White did not do a great job protecting his High Templar in game 1. I'm hoping to see something different right here. Looks like he's going to go for a Forge Fast Expand, putting that... It's possible he'll go for Gateway. One gate pressure is very popular on this map because it is a 2-player map, and oftentimes you can win the game outright just with 3 Zealots and early pressure on your opponent. HowDareYou, let's see if he can turn around. He really had some trouble macroing up, and honestly it felt like, yeah, he went up to 4-hatch Hydra and didn't seem to have a... I'm not sure what happened there. Didn't seem to have a game plan after that. Maybe, again, it could be the lag, just throwing a lot of the players off. We do see a 9 pool, comparatively, and an Extractor. So, early aggression here from HowDareYou. So he's definitely going to open up Zergling speed. Forge on the front door. So this is going to come down to White getting the cannons down, getting the blockade. He does have a probe wandering up and seeing this, unfortunately. So drone wasn't able to block the line. That might be game right there. We'll see. Because oftentimes when you have a skilled Protoss opponent that scouts this and gets in the base and is able to just keep eyes, they're able to fight this off. It really comes down to how skilled. It's kind of like the 2-gate opener versus Protoss comparatively. Full set of Zergling speed produced. You'll probably see a pull-off with 100 gas. Get that Zergling speed. Yep. Drone's still here in the base. Oftentimes you want to keep that drone there. 2 cannons warping in, which is sufficient. But oftentimes, just to be safe, you want to have probes pull off the line to try to provide some defense, also to prevent run-bys, things along those lines. Probe actually mining from that natural. Single Zergling being left to engage that probe. And Zerglings making their way across the map. The cannons will warp in just fine, but with speed, so this slows down the natural expansion a little bit. This guarantees that these 9 Zerglings won't end the game, but with speed, sometimes these Zerglings can still slot by and get some scouting, especially shooting this gap right here. HowDareYou, sorry, White waiting, has that gateway up, has the Zergling in the gap, or sorry, the probe in the gap, and probably didn't even need that second cannon, to be honest. 2 Zerglings down. Zergling speed finished, and that's a lot of gas and minerals to invest early to just put your enemy in the dark. Usually, I'm hoping to see a follow-up with Overlord hanging out in the front. Second hatchery down, by the way. This probe's still alive somehow, even with that Zergling speed. Okay, looks like it finally kicked in. Seeing 3 drones back on gas, so he knows that... So what that does preclude is, if all drones were on minerals, that would suggest a quick third. Finally, that drone taken out. Plenty of Zerglings down. Usually the follow-up to this is... Not always, but oftentimes you'll see a follow-up to this to just like quick 2-hatch play. Or, yeah, and it looks like we are seeing that layer being warped in. But White, getting his Cybernetics core, I think he's going to be in prime position to go ahead and cope with this. He should... The trick here is 2-hatch Muta, having preparation against that. So having a cannon... So these 2 cannons do a little bit of defense, trying to poke that front door. These cannons provide a little bit of defense against Muta, but usually you want a cannon hugging the Nexus someplace, and you want another cannon or 2 at your main. And allow that to protect your Corsairs, so basically your Zerg opponent doesn't get a superior drone count. But I take that back. Yeah, he's got 2-hatch, but he's going to go ahead and plop down this 1 o'clock base. So maybe going for more of a macro follow-up. So initially this looked like it was going to be 2-hatch Muta. Instead, it looks like he's going to opt for perhaps 3-hatch Muta. With Spire, we would have seen Hydralisk down earlier than this if we were seeing Hydralisk play. That will give a modicum of map control. There's that Stargate warping in, that Overlord in position to go ahead and see it. But again, the trick here is White being heads up and again getting those cannons where he needs to. Warping in a second assimilator, has a pylon in that back line. Gateway making its way across, and that Spire is in fact on the way Drones actually pulling off gas at the main. Interesting. So, and no second gas here. Yeah, I don't know what How Dare You... This is really odd play, I gotta say. Because oftentimes with follow-up Muta play, what you'll see another assimilator, which we're seeing just now. But this is honestly either too early or too late based on the Spire timing. Just now getting 3 drones in. This means there's going to be far fewer Mutalisks than there would have been otherwise. Zealots moving across, attacking those Zerglings, and making their way towards the front. This is also going to force perhaps some... Looks like some Zerglings trying to take care of that probe in that back. This is also going to force a creep colony, potentially some other units, but that was a lot of How Dare You's mid-game, and this is similar to game 1. Wondering if he's almost out of practice, if he's playing really tired, something along those lines. This is basically what I'm saying is it's kind of a sloppy build in the mid-game, and so he's losing a lot of initiative. Spire just now finishing. No creep colony at the natural. He's going to try to defend it, I guess, just purely with Zerglings. But that's going to allow a lot of drone kills, to be honest. Drones trying to do some disruption, some Zerglings engaging. 1 drone down. This is also lost mining time. Sees the second gas, so he knows he's probably up against Mutalisks. Nice, actually, drone drill to deal with those Zealots. So really only getting a single drone kill, but that's still some disrupted mining time and a lot of Zerglings being produced in the meantime, and no other macro happening in that time period. So 4 Mutalisks being produced, a single Scourge. We do have that Stargate producing additional Corsair, realizing Muta are in the air, and that Overlord most certainly is going to be forfeit, and that's going to put How Dare You in the red. 2 Zealots plugging that gap, level 1 weapons halfway finished. I'm going to give a strong, and yeah, he's definitely got the cannons in place here, he's got that cannon in place there, so he's well protected against any sort of Mutalisk harass that could push out, and honestly, he's going to be able to follow this up with air control. A lot of Zerglings on the ground. I don't think they can shoot this gap, though, with these 3 Zealots and the 2 cannons in the way, so How Dare You in a nice position. Scourge able to take out that Corsair. We're getting that kind of the last lingering view of that. This 1 o'clock base is up, but it hasn't been mining for a considerable amount of time. So How Dare You kind of, as far as timing-wise, he's between a rock and a hard place as far as his overall position. Still supply capped. Hasn't been able to get any aggression done with his tech, and has been delayed as far as his overall commitment here. And there should be, yeah, with these cannons, so diving in here, the Corsair count, a little bit lazy. Now re-engaging, actually has, what's that, 7 Mutalisks? But it's gonna, with the 3 Corsairs out, is probably gonna end up losing. Oh no, he's not gonna chase it down. Honestly, How Dare You is lucky, because if White decided to hunt that down, he could have taken all the Mutalisks and taken down some Overlords to follow it up too. How Dare You's a little bit all in. Yeah, I think he realizes the situation as well, but as you can see, he's actually producing a lot of Scourge. I think he's also getting a Hatchery and a Hydralisk Den to follow. I was expecting him to go a little bit all in with the air. Perhaps getting the Scourge just to maintain some map control. Getting the Hydralisks as he's concerned about the Corsairs. 3 gateways in the main. Corsair count has actually paused here. No level 1 weapons being upgraded, so they're just there for, it looks like, the defense. DM White continuing to play a little bit more passively, and that is going to give How Dare You maybe some breathing room to get back in this game. He's still significantly behind. Finally mining here at the 1 o'clock base. Actually has decent drone saturation at the natural. Main is a little bit thin. Is getting Phenumanized Carapace. Is that the right way to, the Phenumanized? Something to follow up. I think that's what it is. For the mid-game, Zergling's just kind of scouting things out after that level 2 weapons being upgraded. So he's going to have a significant upgrade lead once again. And yeah, we're seeing the tech switch, Hydralisk speed being Phenumanized. Yeah, it is Carapace. That's weird, that Phenumanized Carapace would increase Overlord speed. I should look up what the word Phenumanized means. Am I even pronouncing that? I think I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe it's a Carapace that's a little bit more like chainmail. Not chainmail, like the interlocking mail that's super flexible with the... So the Carapace is like not getting in the way of the Overlords so they can move a little bit faster. Maybe that's why Overlords have trouble moving, is because they've got just kind of weird... It hurts to move, but then like once they get this upgrade, they start being produced in such a way where their skin doesn't get in their own way. Something along those lines. Zerg lore that I'm making up on the spot. We are seeing a switch towards Hydralisk tech. We see some Archons making their way across the map. Natural expansion is... So we got a SimCity and blockading right there. Corsairs, Archons are going to make those Mutalisks do very, very little. We do have a single Dark Templar making its way across with the rest of this army. This 12 o'clock base, again, getting shelled up. Still, again, How Dare You in the red. Scourge wandering in. Those Archons not able to protect one Corsair. The Zealots just diving in to these creep colonies, and with that level 2 weapons, they're going to be able to, well, level 1 weapons, they're still going to be able to shred this very rapidly, and the Archons on top of the Mutalisks, this 1 o'clock base is gone. Honestly, just the Dark Templar posted, the Zealots and the, yeah, just posted here defending that ramp that's going to allow these Archons to work through this, and honestly, I'm wondering if we're going to see a GG right here. DM White sitting at 92 supply comparatively. More Hydralisks being produced, but they can't engage this army, and Scourge takes out another Corsair. However, it's not, yeah, it's not all that great. Archons continuing to provide some, 9 kills on that Archon. That tells you the story right there. That's 15 kills on the Archons alone between the two of them. More units making their way across to try to deal with this. DM White is free to go ahead and expand. He's already got twice the supply of How Dare You. He's just winning it basically on macro. Might even opt to get some more Corsair because the Mutalisk count has been a little bit low. How Dare You is at risk of getting counter-contained, but DM White actually moving forward into this. I don't think he needs to... Oh, no, back up, back up. Yeah, okay. He can go ahead and back up and set up a contain here. That's all he really needs to do. We also see Ventral Sacs being upgraded. Another interesting thing, Ventral. I'm going to look up the words in between here for you guys for if there's a match 3 or in the winner's match to let you guys know what these words mean effectively, and then we'll come up with some lore, and that'll be some nice early game chatter. Nice Zergling annoyance here to try to prevent that additional Nexus going up, but honestly, it's kind of only a matter of time. How Dare You in a desperate situation here. Just getting level 1 weapons upgrade for his Hydralisks. Has his tech intact at the very least, but doesn't have a lot else to work with. Is moving his way across the map, trying to find maybe a hidden expansion that was being taken, but DM White is being very cautious and moving out with an army. He's supply capped himself right now. But he's, even with that supply cap, he's at 122 supply versus 66. 67 now, which is basically close to double the supply. That number always moves, so I have to be careful. He's a little bit light. Okay, never mind, take it back. So 6 gateways overall. Should be able to, 7 gateways. Should be able to increase that rapidly, going for level 3 weapons. Has everything he needs to continue in a very strong position in the late game. Hydralisks and Mutalisks moving up. Maybe, I'm not sure what they're hoping to catch. Maybe High Templar moving naked across the field. Naked High Templar. Are High Templar always naked? Is this just what their body looks like? No, they're wearing cool robes and stuff. DM White engaging. Archons are always naked. They got that cloud protecting their bits. Anyway, good Side Storm on that back corner. Lewd. How Dare You has some nice map positioning here, but honestly, some Side Storms and whatnot could very rapidly dislodge that. Good Side Storms to the north, catching those Lurkers, going to be able... Quick lead up with those Zealots. The Observer and everything else. The Observer looks like it got picked off by the Hydralisk, but there's no Lurkers underneath to really make that worthwhile, and that Lurker's not going to burrow, unfortunately. More Hydralisks being pushed back. Trying to retake that 1 o'clock position, but just as he's retaking it, White is in position to go ahead and take that base out again. Some Hydralisks and a Lurker sneaking through, but there's plenty of cannons there to defend that 9 o'clock. There's 2 cannons at the main plus reinforcements coming across there. And it looks like we might be able to catch that probe transfer. Not quite. Actually going to be able to catch the letter N, but while that's happening, Dragoons pounding away at this natural expansion. And yeah, you can see looks like they got some probes with that Lurker, but not getting much else. And the cannons alone should be able to clean that up. Zealot sneaking in underneath, taking out a handful of additional Hydralisks. There's a lot of fodder here to absorb, like attack shots and whatnot, but there's still, this is level 2 weapons, level 3 still on the way. Lots of Side Storm. Oh, that drone line getting obliterated, and there's GG from How Dare You. So 2-0. DM White will advance to the winner's match. How Dare You will move to the loser's match. I'm going to look up those 2 words, and I will get to the next game of the winner's match momentarily. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.